Alright guys, here it is. This is our New Orleans ghost tour of the French Quarter. Hope you enjoy.
Hardy sells his place to another Dr. Louis Dupas. He and his wife then retire back to France. But the two little guys, they stay behind and they haunt this place to this day. You'll see as we go, kid hauntings are more fun, playful, less scary than adult hauntings. They get used to them. They just mess with the heads of people that work here more than anything else. They'll move stuff around, turn pages of books in front of them, things like that. But the other person that haunts his spot is that second doctor, Dr. Dupas. People were afraid of him back then. He tried to stab a guy on the sidewalk just for saying good morning. But nobody knew how evil and depraved this man was till over 20 years later when they found him dead upstairs inside this building. And they read his medical journal laying on the bedstand beside him. First thing it said, I want to become the master of the painless birth. He's talking about C-sections. Now to be fair, when he started, he did try and learn to do C-sections. But over time, he went insane. And he turned into one of the worst serial killers this city has ever seen. I told you he wants to be the master. That means he needs practice. That means he needs test subjects to practice on. I also told you...
A lot of history here at St. Mary's. Every story involving vampires originated from this church. The nuns actually had teenage girls brought over from France. They were carrying little coffins with them. And since their arrival, when you look on a church on the second story, for 250 years, the attic has been nailed shut. They're carrying little coffins. A lot of people believe that they were the vampires, or they carried vampires in those coffins.
And orders him to nail shut the attic windows all the way around this building. He goes right back to the ship, 4 months back to Europe, never goes to Jackson Square, never blesses the city. For over 250 years, those attic windows have been nailed shut with nails blessed and ordered by the Pope himself. See the wall in the corner? How it's different than the wall right in front of it? This is the original wall, that's the new one. Go around the corner, looks like this again. What happened to the old wall? It collapsed. Why did it collapse? Because it was hollow. Why was it hollow? Because it was filled with the skeletons of hundreds of newborn infants. They pour into the street. People see this. They go, the nuns come out, they barricade the corner, push those people away. Some go straight to the police, tell them what they saw. Police come back the next day to investigate, and that wall had been built overnight. Police can't look any further into it because the nuns are more powerful than the police at that point in history. Now, this would be one of the more modern things that we talk about. In the 19...
This is the Lalaurie Mansion, as seen on American Horror Story. Over 250 slaves were murdered here. You see the building off to the left, up top of the air conditioner. That was what the slaves referred to as the upstairs. That's where all of them were tortured. Down below that, where the garage is, that was a kitchen. A slave actually set fire in that kitchen. The fire department came. They carried everything out the street, all the tables, chairs, continued to party out there. There's actually the Code of Noir where slaves were to be treated in a decent manner. What the firefighters found upstairs enraged them. The Lalauries fled and were never found or held accountable for their crimes. Some forms of torture that they did, they would cut off body parts, sew them onto other slaves. They broke a slave's bones, shoved them in a box so it resembled a crab. They would let the bones regrow in those shapes.
Remember back at the pharmacy, we said at least 70 dead moms and babies in 20-some years? In this house, we're talking about 250 to 300 tortured and murdered enslaved individuals from 1830 to April of 1834. That's why this is the most haunted house in America.
This was a boarding school for girls after it was renovated. The teachers, the kids complained of scratches, and they would always say it was the lady who did it. Nicolas Cage owned this place for 3 days. So on it, he ended up selling it. And now the VP of BP Oils actually owns it. Now, They don't do tours, but they did say that they do let people in there, a couple times a year. This is Pirate Alley. We're walking down. You probably saw Captain Jack and his lovely wife there. That's Franklin Square you see out there. Just a lot of history. This is just a cool clip, kind of show the vibe of it. Out here they do tarot card readings, and psychics and mediums and all that stuff there. Alright, so this is Murrell's. It's a restaurant now. I toured all this table you see right here. They fill a glass of red wine up for him every day. These are stairs coming down from the seance room. We'll get to that later. How seriously they took the haunting of this house was during COVID. This restaurant was shut down for a year, and they would fill that glass, the table you saw earlier, full of red wine as an offering to the spirit, because before then they were breaking bottles and dishes, and they fired staff a couple different times because of the hauntings. You can see it's a nice little creepy coming down the stairs, and you see his table. I sat in that table, took some screenshots. As you can see, that's their little note that they have there, saying that's the table that they set aside for him. And yeah, check it out. This is a seance room here. This is really cool. If you look online, there's a bunch of ghost pictures from here. I actually used one for a thumbnail. It's a pretty cool place. Definitely creepy. I walked out on the balcony. I got this whole upstairs set up here. And when they go into the dining room, I'll show you. That's where he hung himself after losing the deed to his house in a poker game. They're about as white as a ghost, I tell you. Alright, you're ruining my photo again.
Me?
Yeah, I didn't want you in it. Let's go. Is there one? These are one of the rooms where he hung himself in there. You saw through the window. I actually showed that room inside. This is the balcony. Definitely a nice vibe up here. Very relaxing. A lot to see in New Orleans. I definitely recommend going sometime. Here's me sitting at Mr. Perry's table. I asked him if he'd mind if I'd sit with him. I didn't get an answer. There's just some screenshots. I took burst photos. I didn't get any ghost pictures, unfortunately. But in my other video coming up next, the cemetery tour, there's some ghost pictures in there for sure. So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, and watch my other video for ghost pictures. Thank you.